Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Puma evoPOWER 1.2 in the latest white, black, and Hawaiian ocean colorway. Now inside the box, as you guys can see, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at this very good-looking colorway of the evoPOWER 1.2. So in today's video, we're of course going to take a closer look at the colorway itself, as well as talk about the overall fit, feel, and performance of the shoe. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular product, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you guys are interested in purchasing a pair for yourself, check out the review page on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes that'll actually allow you to pick these up below their normal retail price, and I actually will be posting the full written review this week on that page as well, so stay tuned for that. Again, first link down below in the description. With all that being said though, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway itself. Now, I'm personally a huge fan of how the evoPOWER 1.2 looks. I especially like the embossed AccuFoam padding here across the lateral side of the shoe, and I just think it's a really sleek, modern boot overall. As far as this colorway is concerned, it's very simple, and again, I'm a huge fan. I much prefer this over the launch color, which was that navy blue purplish color. So obviously this is a white-based upper. Some people will be a little bit afraid of that, just because white shoes are generally a little bit difficult to keep clean. These will be no different, but you have to consider that this is a smooth synthetic upper with really no exposed stitching, so there's not too much here that will stain permanently. So as long as you keep up with wiping them down, they'll stay white for a relatively long time. You're going to find the black color in the form of the Puma form stripe, which also has a nice sparkle detail, something that you don't really see unless you have the shoe in person. Hopefully that comes through in the video. You're going to find black as well in the external EverFit cage on the medial side, as well as the tips of the studs. You're going to find that Hawaiian ocean color in the grip text texturing on the surface, the heel in a shiny synthetic material, as well as the entire sole plate. And you're also going to find an accent color of this neon orange in the evoPOWER 1 branding on the upper, the Adapt Light branding right there, the evoPOWER branding on the tongue, the little one at the end of the silver evoPOWER branding on the heel, and of course the spine on the bottom of the shoe. So all in all, really, really good looking colorway. I'm a huge fan of it just for the simple fact that it's a simple black and white color with the added flash of the blue. I just really like how it looks overall, but let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the evoPOWER 1.2 is truly unlike any other shoe on the market, which isn't something that you get to say all that often. It's definitely the highlight of Puma's current lineup in my opinion, and it's a bit of a shame that because Puma is definitely a distant third place as far as popularity is concerned when compared to both Adidas as well as Nike, a lot of people won't even consider this shoe, but like I said, as far as performance is concerned, it definitely won't let you down. Now, starting off with what this shoe is all about, it was designed based on barefoot striking mechanics, where Puma did some testing and they came to these three conclusions. When you strike the ball barefoot, the natural flexibility of your foot, where your foot tenses up, your toes curl back, that allows for somewhat of a recoil effect when you strike the ball that increases the power of your shot. They also found that having no padding across the top of your foot, just having a true barefoot strike, resulted in more power. With that being said, they also found that having some padding to your foot allows for better accuracy. So they came up with the original evoPOWER 1, which has since evolved into the evoPOWER 1.2, which truly does feel like a more refined variation of the original evoPOWER. Not necessarily an improvement, but you can tell that they went back to the drawing board and kind of changed what needed to be changed while still maintaining the same concept. Now, as you guys can see with the bottom of the shoe, they haven't changed a thing. It still features the gradual stability frame, which is nice and stiff in the heel, gets more and more flexible towards the midfoot, and then becomes very, very flexible in the forefoot. So when you actually do strike the ball, tense up your toes, the sole plate will bend backwards with your foot, which is really, really nice. It's a sensation that you won't get every time that you strike the ball, but when you do feel it, it's a very rewarding sensation, and it kind of lets you know that you struck the ball as well as you possibly could have. It's kind of you did something right type of sensation, if that makes any sense. It's relatively thin. It's very, very flexible this way as well, which is something that I personally really like. It just makes for a very natural running motion and running sensation in this particular shoe. And as far as the stud pattern is concerned, again, it definitely is a winner. You get bladed studs in the heel, some bladed studs at the base of the forefoot that act as basically stability. You can see it's actually called the stability blade. So when you are making those hard lateral cuts and just planting in general, it really does lock the shoe in place and allows you to push off with as much force as possible. And then you have these four fairly long, aggressive, and narrow profile conical studs that penetrate the ground really, really nicely, provide plenty of grip when pushing off, but because they are rounded, when you are on your toes, you have that freedom to twist and turn. So you kind of get the best of both worlds here as far as bladed and conical stud patterns go. Really big fan of how this traction pattern actually works on natural grass playing surfaces. Now moving on to the upper, what they have maintained as well is the Adapt Light synthetic material, which is a one-way stretch microfiber synthetic. It stretches vertically, so up and down, not this way, which means that you will get a nice supportive feel. More on that in just a second. So again, one-way stretch microfiber. It allows the shoe to bend backwards, and the upper, like I said, moves with your foot. It's a very interesting sensation, one that again you won't get from any other shoe on the market right now, and it allows the shoe to really wrap your foot and just feel very, very comfortable. There's pretty much no break-in time required here. It's a very soft synthetic from right out of the box. Not really going to get much stretch out of it, but like I said, the feel and comfort that you get is top notch. Now to go along with that new, the Adapt Light synthetic that they've incorporated on this shoe, they actually changed up the liner a little bit, which is kind of interesting. They've given it a mesh-based liner this time around, which I much prefer, with kind of a honeycomb backing material. I can't tell if it's foam or kind of more mesh to create that shape, but what it actually does is it just stabilizes the shoe overall. It reinforces that upper, and it's not something that was an issue with the original evoPOWER 1, but when you're coming from that original evoPOWER to the 1.2, you definitely will notice a difference in responsiveness and just the overall kind of solid feel that you get when the shoe is on your foot. So really big fan of how the evoPOWER 1.2 feels, largely due to that new liner they've incorporated on the inside of the shoe. Now also, what is changed with the upper is definitely the AccuFoam padding. Now the AccuFoam padding is scattered pretty much across the entire upper this time around. It's a lot more evenly distributed than what we saw on the original evoPOWER 1, and it's also a lot thinner in comparison to the original. You can see all the raised embossed areas of the shoe. That is actually AccuFoam, and essentially it's just a very thin, soft memory foam material that they have somehow incorporated into the upper of the shoe. You can see at its thickest point, it's still very, very thin. And again, that's probably the biggest difference in feel coming from the evoPOWER 1 to the 1.2 is that these feel noticeably thinner. There definitely isn't as much padding to it, and you don't really have kind of targeted cushioning on the upper. It just feels uniform across the entire foot, which is something that I really, really like. I'm kind of undecided as to whether or not I prefer the thinner feel of the evoPOWER 1.2 versus the thin yet slightly padded feel of the original evoPOWER 1. But if you were looking again for a more streamlined variation of the original evoPOWER, the 1.2 is definitely going to be something that you're going to be happy with. Now, of course, you do have an off-centered lacing system, as you guys can see. The tongue itself does have 3 thick memory foam inserts that help to cut down on lace bite, which is really, really nice. Something I've always been a big fan of with the evoPOWER line, even on the original. The heel liner material is a smooth synthetic leather with a graphic there that looks like it might be grippy, but it isn't. It's just there for styling purposes. And then the insole is, of course, fully removable. Mesh liner on top. One single layer of foam, and then you're going to find perforated foam inserts in the heel as well as in the forefoot that make for quite a bit of foam under your foot. So again, step-in comfort is a very positive aspect of the evoPOWER 1.2. Very cushioned sensation under your feet, at least when they're brand new. After a month or two, some of this foam will definitely compress, but nonetheless, very good insole, very, very good shoe, and like I said, you really can't go wrong with the evoPOWER 1.2. Not the most popular shoe, not the most popular brand, but if you do choose to give these a try, I'm sure that you will be very, very happy with their feel and performance. As far as weight is concerned, I don't think many people would expect the evoPOWER 1.2 to be as light as it actually is. So for the sake of comparison, we're going to weigh in the evoPOWER 1.2 side by side with the 2015 Adidas F50 Adizero. Keep in mind these are both in brand new condition and both in the exact same size. So we'll start off with the F50s, throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.15 ounces, which is pretty light. That in grams is 203 grams. So we'll pull this off the scale, change change the scale back to ounces, and we'll throw on the evoPOWER 1.2, and you can see that they weigh in at the exact same 7.15 ounces, again, 203 grams. So how light are the evoPOWER 1.2s? Just as light as the 2015 F50 Addy Zeros. Alright, so here's a look at the evoPOWER 1.2s on feet. On my left foot I have the stock white laces that come with the shoe, and on my right foot I have a pair of reflective light blue SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, check out the website sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a direct link to that down below in the description of this video. Now in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they are very, very comfortable from right out of the box. Virtually no break-in time required. The Adapt-Lite synthetic is soft and very, very flexible, while the gradual stability frame sole plate is also quite flexible. You can flex forward very easily and even backwards, as you guys can see. Now the flex is not as extreme as I think a lot of people would expect. Obviously, when you do put a lot of force when striking the ball, that motion is going to allow the shoe to flex a lot harder backwards than what you're just going to be able to do right here, kind of just as I'm doing. But like I said, it is something that you will notice when you strike through the ball. Not every time, but when you do hit it correctly, when you hit it perfectly, I should say, you definitely will get that flex back sensation, which, like I said, is quite rewarding. In terms of width, because the synthetic material does have that slight amount of kind of elasticated stretch to it, they fit really nicely. It's a tighter fitting shoe, but definitely not something that's squeezing your foot or anything like that. And it does have a pretty decent width about it overall. Definitely not a narrow fitting shoe, but not overly wide either. I would say that these will fit most people, and if you do have excessively wide feet, probably not the best option, just because you won't be able to get a lot of stretch out of the shoe. Something that is also worth pointing out regarding the fit of the shoe is that it does have that kind of anatomic shaping to it, which is very common for Puma, where it comes to a bit of a point at the big toe and then kind of curves around like the natural shape of your foot, as opposed to being a perfectly rounded toe. It's something that does bother some people, but honestly, I really like it. It doesn't affect me whatsoever. Really doesn't take any time to get used to it either. It just fits really, really nicely. I find it comfortable, and again, it's not something that bothers me at all, but something worth taking note of if it is something that you are a little bit concerned with. But like I said, it's something that I think 9 out of 10 people will adapt to pretty much instantly, won't bother them whatsoever. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing a size 9.5 US as opposed to my usual size 9. That's because the evoPOWER 1.2 runs half a size small. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going up a half size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Puma evoPOWER 1.2. This is a great shoe, and in comparison to the original evoPOWER 1, it's a little bit thinner and just more streamlined overall. It's a lightweight shoe that offers great traction and probably one of the most unique striking experiences of any shoe on the market due to the flexibility of the upper, the sole plate, and just the thin yet padded feel that it has to offer. So if all that sounds good to you, the evoPOWER 1.2 is a shoe that I can very strongly recommend. Again, if you guys want more information on the overall performance, I will be posting the full written review this week, so stay tuned for that. It will be linked down below in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you do click that very first link down below, on the review page you will find buy it now links for this particular shoe, along with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you will actually be able to pick it up below its normal $200 retail price. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. Again, first link down below. If you have any questions regarding this shoe at all, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.